Greetings. Welcome back to the channel Humanity, Facts and Mysteries. Deep in the heart of Southeast Asia, shrouded by dense jungle, lie the remnants of a once mighty empire. These are the ruins of Angkor, the capital of the Khmer Empire, a civilization that dominated the region for over 600 years. But this wasn't just an empire of stone temples and powerful kings. It was an empire built on water. Welcome to our journey back in time, to explore the incredible story of the Khmer Empire and its mastery over one of nature's most powerful forces. The story begins around the 9th century. A young Prince Jayavarman II returns from exile in Java. Through a series of brilliant military campaigns and political alliances, he unites the scattered princedoms of what is now modern-day Cambodia. On the sacred mountain of Panam Kolan, he declares himself Dvorja, or God King, a universal monarch, and the Khmer Empire is born. But how did this fledgling kingdom grow into a regional superpower? The secret lies not just in its armies, but in its engineers. The Khmer heartland, the Angkor region, is a land of extremes. It's scorched by a dry season for half the year, and then completely inundated by monsoonal rains for the other half. For any civilization to thrive here, controlling water wasn't just an advantage, it was a necessity. The Khmer engineers embarked on one of the most ambitious hydraulic engineering projects in human history. They built a vast and complex network of canals, reservoirs, and moats. These weren't just for irrigation. This was a complete hydrological system, a man-made water world. At the heart of this system were the massive reservoirs, known as barays. The West Baray, for example, is an enormous man-made lake, measuring 8 kilometers long by 2 kilometers wide. Think about that, it's so large it's visible from space. These barays were designed to capture and store the massive volume of water from the monsoon rains. Then, a sophisticated network of canals and channels distributed this water throughout the year. This system allowed the Khmer to do something revolutionary. They could cultivate rice multiple times a year, sometimes 3 or even 4 harvests. This created an incredible agricultural surplus, a level of food security that was almost unheard of in the pre-industrial world. This abundance of rice was the engine that powered the empire. It fed a massive population, supported a large standing army, and freed up a vast labor force. And what did they do with that labor? They built temples. Of course, you can't talk about the Khmer Empire without talking about Angkor Wat. Constructed in the early 12th century by King Jayavarman II, it's the largest religious monument in the world. Originally a Hindu temple dedicated to Vishnu, it later transformed into a Buddhist site. Its 5 iconic towers, representing the peaks of Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods, soar towards the sky. The entire temple is surrounded by a massive moat, not just for defense, but as a symbolic representation of the cosmic ocean. The walls of Angkor Wat are covered in nearly a kilometer of intricate bas-relief carvings, depicting epic tales from Hindu mythology and scenes from the court of the king. It's a stone encyclopedia of Khmer culture, belief, and daily life. But Angkor Wat is just one of over 1,000 temples scattered across the region. Each one is a testament to the empire's wealth, devotion, and incredible architectural skill. Another jewel is Angkor Thom, the last great capital city of the empire, built by the legendary King Jayavarman VII. At its center stands the Bayan Temple, famous for its 216 enigmatic, smiling stone faces. Scholars debate who these faces represent. Are they the king himself, a bodhisattva, or both? They gaze out in all directions, a symbol of the king's omnipresent power and compassion. For centuries, the Khmer Empire was a beacon of culture and power. Its influence stretched across modern-day Thailand, Laos, and southern Vietnam. Its art and architecture were unparalleled. Its water management system was a marvel of engineering. The Khmer seemed unstoppable. So what happened? How did such a powerful, sophisticated civilization collapse? The decline of the Khmer Empire wasn't a single event, but a slow, complex process spanning over a century. There's no simple answer, but historians point to a combination of devastating factors. First, relentless warfare. The empire was constantly under pressure from its neighbors, particularly the rising Siamese kingdom of Ayutthaya to the west. A major sack of Angkor by Ayutthayan forces in 1431 is often cited as a critical blow, leading the Khmer court to relocate its capital southward, away from the vulnerable frontier. Then there was a change in faith. The state religion shifted from Hinduism and Mahayana Buddhism to Theravada Buddhism. This new faith emphasized individual salvation over the grand, state-sponsored temple-building projects of the past. The Devaraja cult, the ideological foundation of the God King's power, weakened. The motivation to maintain the massive infrastructure of Angkor may have waned. But perhaps the most critical factor was the very system that gave the empire its strength. Water. Climate change likely played a huge role. Evidence suggests the region experienced a series of prolonged and severe droughts, followed by intense, destructive floods. The intricate water network, so perfectly tuned to a stable climate, couldn't cope with these wild swings. The canals clogged with silt, the reservoirs failed, and the agricultural system that supported the entire civilization began to break down. Imagine the canals running dry, the rice paddies turning to dust. The agricultural surplus vanished, leading to famine and social unrest. The once mighty water management system, the empire's lifeblood, became its Achilles heel. By the 15th and 16th centuries, the great city of Angkor was largely abandoned. The jungle, always waiting at the edges, began its slow, relentless process of reclamation. Temples were swallowed by strangler figs, and the vast network of canals disappeared under a blanket of green. The glorious water-based civilization of the Khmer faded into memory, becoming the stuff of legend. For centuries, Angkor remained a lost city to the outside world, known only to local monks and villagers. It wasn't until the 19th century that French explorers, guided by local knowledge, rediscovered the ruins and brought their breathtaking scale to global attention. Today, thanks to modern technology like LiDAR, which can digitally strip away the jungle canopy, we are rediscovering the true extent of the Khmer civilization. We now know that Angkor was not just a collection of temples, but a sprawling, low-density urban complex, the largest of its kind in the pre-industrial world, housing perhaps up to 1 million people. The story of the Khmer Empire is a powerful reminder of the heights a civilization can reach through ingenuity and a deep understanding of its environment. It's also a cautionary tale. It shows how even the most sophisticated societies can be vulnerable to environmental change and internal pressures. The stone faces of the Bayon continue to smile their enigmatic smiles, keepers of a history that we are still working to fully understand. They stand as silent witnesses to the rise and fall of an extraordinary empire, an empire built on water and ultimately reclaimed by the jungle. Thanks for joining us on this journey. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into the history of our world. See you next time.